Good morning. How are you today? Well, it's in the low 70s. It's very comfortable here. And so this would make it a wonderful 4th of July weekend, given the weather. And I hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. I posted the New York Times documentary on what happened on January the 6th. And it is a moving piece because it follows the timeline and brings from multiple sources what was happening as it happened when those who were traitors to our nation tried to overthrow our government on January the 6th, 2021. And Trump at one point said, this is a day you should never forget. It's one of those things I do agree with him about. It's a day we should never forget. And it's a day that we should take as a warning that what Benjamin Franklin said was absolutely true. And that is, this is a republic if you can keep it. And if we don't care to fight for it, if we don't care to keep it, we will lose it. And we are in danger of losing it. The New York Times is doing the job that many others should be doing. That is calling out the facts, calling out who is right and wrong by the facts. Not even with conclusions, just reporting what people said and did and when they did it. Focusing in this 40-minute piece on the rioters who did it, they said, at the behest of he whose name we'd prefer to forget, Mr. Trump. And as we go forward, we can't ignore the fact that on the day of the insurrection, members of the Congress and the Senate, even after there was an assault on the Capitol, these people still wanted to go forward with a vote that would override what the Electoral College said, namely that by their vote from all across the United States, Biden was the president-elect. They still persisted, even though they knew the attack on the Capitol was to stop that vote and to defeat it. Now, more felt they had an obligation to continue. In fact, the House continued its proceedings even as the rioters came into the Capitol because they knew how important this was. These people wanted to hang the Vice President of the United States because he wouldn't commit the crime of ignoring the Constitution and the law and overthrowing the election. They wanted to kidnap the Speaker of the House. And we have Republicans who say, oh, it was just like visitors to the Capitol. See how they were strolling. Yes. Well, if you think that, watch the New York Times documentary, because it was a pure assault, and the efforts to resist it were compromised in some way that we will find out someday, that left the Capitol Police without their shields and without the different kinds of tools that they could have used to push back. But we're grateful for the fact that the DC police came forward, police from Arlington came forward, and from Maryland came forward. And finally, the National Guard came forward and pushed them back. And the House and Senate had that vote. Where are we now? Where we are is we can't afford to be courteous. We have to be factual. We can't afford to obscure the role of those who would bring down our country. We have to have clarity. Clarity. What am I talking about? The man who says, oh, it was just a walk in the park. What's the big deal? He has no business being in Congress. He is lulling people into a sense of belief that nothing really happened. But we have worse people than that. They're not just lying. They were the ones who pushed the vote after the insurrection. They were the ones who, to this day, are resisting investigations of their misconduct. They are the ones to this day that are supporting a fellow who's running around the nation saying, I was robbed and you should help me get elected in the future. Unless and until we lose our sensitivity to calling people out for what they did, we are at risk as a nation. We cannot have the president or any leader of the Democratic Party speak of bipartisanship when that party exists from its leadership on down, anyone who remains in that party as an enemy of our nation. We cannot pretend that these people are American citizens. These people are the enemy within, and we must resist them at every turn, and we must stop pretending we can be bipartisan with them. Because bipartisan means bringing into our household, our democracy, people who are only looking for an advantage to destroy it. While we're fighting about voting rights and equality and how we serve the people at home and abroad, these people are holding their breath, denying any success to this nation, seeking to defeat it in any way they can so that they can assume power in the future as soon as the midterms. So, on the day before our Declaration of Independence, I think what we should be doing is declaring ourselves independent of Republicans, every one of them, whether they're running for dog catcher, up to the governor of a state, every place in between, and then in the presidential election for the presidency. We can do nothing less because, as Franklin said, you have a republic if you can keep it. That's my thoughts for the day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.